In this episode, as you can see right here, we have Marko. We talk about his history outside of T-Font, in T-Font. We talk about the ETFL. As you can see, also, we have the trophy here, which is an absolute honor, as we have the champ sitting right here. We played a little fun game of start, bench, cut, which I think there were some pretty good names involved in there. And Ottawa. We talked about Ottawa and how there are some controversial rules, I think, that need to be addressed on if they're still the same, if they're not, if they change, and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, keep watching for this episode. Welcome back to the Double Outs podcast. Jasmine, Joe, and we have a special guest today,
Marko.
Before we get into Marko and a whole lot of details, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, McCalmont Financial, for being our official sponsor. Past episodes, this episode, everything. I'll get into a little more detail later on in the episode, but Andre, big thank you. Hit all the buttons. Hit everything.
Double podcast.
Let's go. I'm hyped today.
All right, so where to begin? There are some leagues and stuff that we were going to touch up on, but we're going to kind of bypass them / talk about them during this episode instead of doing what we normally do in like the full breakdown. So I want to get started with Marko right away. How long have you been playing football?
How long have I been playing football? I actually had a late start. I would say probably grade 7 or 8. One of our neighbors.
That sounds early to me.
Yeah, that would have, I was maybe 12. One of our neighbors came by our house and was like, hey, I play football. You guys want to try it out? We had played soccer and basketball and tennis. And we were like, sure, why not? So me and Sasha at the time, my brother, who I'm sure some of your followers know, we went and tried it out, and we played Dolphins for a year. I played receiver, I played quarterback, I played D-end, I played a lot of positions on that team.
You're such a fucking Dolphins hater.
I had no clue. Matt's a Dolphin hater?
Yeah, he's Scarborough.
He must have been, Scarborough?
Yeah.
We already know what that means.
Yeah, we ain't worried about Scarborough. We were worried about Burlington and that kind of team.
Scarborough's ass.
But yeah, we did Dolphins. We tried it out and enjoyed it. Played a couple years. And then when I got to high school, grade 9, if I recall, we didn't have a team. And then in grade 10, a football program started. And
where'd you go to high school?
St. Mary High School.
St. Mary, okay.
Big ups to the Monarchs, Monarch Pride.
5 times.
At least 5-time champs. Let's be honest.
At least in that run.
Through those years. We can do a whole podcast on the dominance of those years. But
there should definitely be a 30 for 30 on St. Mary's and that 1999 to 2004 or whatever it was.
That podcast would explode. You guys would have the highest viewership ever. So yeah. Played St. Mary's for 4 years, 5 years. Settled in at quarterback and eventually was recruited my last year. In Canada, it was going to be either McMaster or St. Mary's University, which were the two kind of big schools that I had kind of settled on with Greg Marshall and Blake Nill, the two coaches at the time. And then out of nowhere, a team from the U.S. came to visit Lafayette College. I'd never even heard of them. Division I AA school in Easton, Pennsylvania, Patriot League. And the next thing I knew, I was signing a scholarship with them. So it was kind of, random how that all happened, but in the end, it worked out. So that's kind of the history there. So
whoa, let's slow down for a second.
Yeah, slow down.
So I remember when I was a kid, and obviously I know I played with your younger brother, but I specifically remember you had first of all, back then to get a scholarship from Pickering or Ajax is almost
wild.
Unheard of. Let's just say that there's no internet, there's no highlights and all that shit. They don't even, where's Canada? They don't even know where Canada is. So that's number one. Number two is I specifically remember that you had, I don't know, I guess it wasn't the cover. Was it the Star or the Sun? But you had an article. I remember you had a bit like that was big.
You're
that was
famous?
big. They had you on the
Cover?
Tell us a story about that. Tell us about that.
So there was a couple of things. There was Toronto Sun. I was the athlete of the year. So I think it was my OAC year. So I was the Toronto Sun athlete of the year for football, basketball, baseball, badminton. Those were the four sports. And then I was Toronto Star. There was like an all-star team, right? So on the Toronto Star, there was like the all-star team, and I was the QB for the football all-star team. So, and then news advertiser stuff as well. But yeah, there was a little bit of newspaper coverage there for, which again was great for our program, right? I mean, St. Mary's. During those years, we really dominated, and then you guys continued it on with Sasha, and then with Eric and you and Rassi and those teams. So. It was the heyday back then, and I know now there is no more football in most of Durham, which is sad, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Right. And then it stopped after you went to the States? Like that
No. So I went to Lafayette. I played there 4 years. I was really lucky because I went in as the third stringer. The first game of my freshman year, the starter got hurt. So going into the second game of the year, I was the backup. He didn't have a very good first half, so they brought me in at the second half of that second game. It was against Princeton, and we had a comeback win. We won 24-17 through a fade ball touchdown on the second last play of the game, and the rest was history. But I started the rest the whole 4 years, and
just took the spot.
It's just kind of one of those things where when you get your opportunity, you got to take advantage of it, 100%. Right? And luckily for me, I did. I mean, if I went into that game and I had a crappy game or whatever, then it might have been different. I would have been maybe sitting the next game. So
that's insane.
4 years at Lafayette. Then after that, I had my draft year. I didn't get drafted. I had an agent and everything, and I was hoping to get drafted. I didn't get drafted. But I ended up going to minicamp with the Giants and the Bills. Very short stints there. Didn't work out. Had a quick stint trying out with the Ticats. Also didn't work out. So eventually I went to Columbia University as a graduate assistant coach. Coached there for a year and a half. And at the end of that, once I got my master's and everything, I was like, you know what? I'm still young. I still feel like I can play. So I heard you can play in Europe. And the next thing I knew, I didn't have an agent anymore at that time. So I just sent out some tapes and emails myself. And back then we used actual tapes, right? And the next thing I know, I'm in Austria playing out there. And I was 6 years in Europe. So that's kind of my background from the tackle football side, 6 years in Europe. And then I retired from tackle at 30.
What made you retire from tackle?
So good question. So my last year in Europe, which was when I was 30, we won the Euro Bowl, the biggest tournament, the highest level there. We won it. So people always ask me, why did you retire then? I'd been out there for 6 years. I was only going to go out there originally for 1 year, right? But because I was with two really good organizations there, and we were good teams. I was doing well out there. We were paid well. We were treated well, right? They gave us a car. They gave us an apartment. They gave us insurance, tax-free pay, all this stuff, right? So it was very enticing to stay out there, right? Yeah. But eventually I was 30 and I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm not going to play football forever. This isn't the NFL where I'm making millions and millions of dollars, right? So eventually I got to go home and find a real job, right? So that's why I decided to retire. I could have kept playing at least another year or two since we'd just come off a Euro Bowl, but I just kind of said, it's time, right? Yeah. Kind of go out on top. So
that's a very responsible decision.
I want to know what it's like when you get to those NFL camps. Like, was that just like an eye opener? Like, holy shit, I'm like not as good as I thought I am, or is it one of those things where it's like, you know what, I'm not in a good situation. Like, I don't really have the opportunity to really grow. Like, they're not going to give me the opportunity to adjust. Like, what
so my draft year was the year that Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, and Roethlisberger came out. So they were all, and the whole drama with Eli Manning, right? And I told you guys, one of the teams I went to minicamp was with the Giants. Yeah. Right? So I remember it was at what's it called now, MetLife Stadium. At the time it was East Rutherford Stadium, and it was kind of drizzling, and it was outdoors, right? So for those 2 days, it was drizzling both days, right? So, whatever. It was my agent got me the gig there to go, and I think I performed pretty well. But in the end, they didn't keep me on. But it was, to your question, it was very cool. It was surreal being there with, at the time it was Tom Coughlin was the coach. He wasn't there for the whole mini camp, but he did show up, and then, it was a very kind of very cool experience. And then with the Bills, that was in their indoor facility, which was massive. I don't know if it's changed since then, but it was this huge, massive indoor facility. There was a lot more dudes. There was like 4 other QBs there that were vying for maybe that one spot. And again, it was a great experience, but it didn't work out. But I was happy to have at least gotten some kind of an opportunity with the
That's
NFL.
incredible. That's amazing.
That's sick.
Yep.
I had a question, but I forgot it.
All right. Well, you retire at 30. You come back home. You're starting your life essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. Like, how does I have an idea, but like, okay, because I know at one point you were working for the Argos, right? So, but that was after you started playing touch, or
it was around the same time. So I got back, and there was always like, when I would come back between seasons from Europe, there was always a lot of people like, hey, when you come back, we need you to play and whatever, right? And I'm like, well, when I get back and I can, I'm actually living here again, then okay, I'll be in. So pretty soon after I returned, I started playing touch football. Killer Instinct obviously was where I landed. I think the familiarity, having guys that I knew, right? Like Brandon Pottle wasn't at the time, so never mind. But like you, Rassi, and some other guys that I'd met playing indoor maybe the year before. That's where I landed, right? And I also was working for the Argos at the time, which was a very challenging job, being the assistant operations guy, just working so many hours. I remember I would have to miss a couple of tournaments, and I'd have to explain it to the KI guys, like, sorry guys, like I'm working for the Argos. I got to do all the dirty work for this team. I'm like the new guy here, right? So, but yeah, that would have been 2012, 2013, which was my first year in TFont. So it's been just over 10 years now.
Wow. Well, you were already on the team at that?
No.
By then, or no?
So that's what's funny.
Yeah, you were, weren't you?
2010.
We got on the team at the same time.
Was it?
Yeah, it was just random. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it was completely random. I just remember, like for me, I was playing with Shad type of thing. And I think Shad was playing with those guys.
Yeah.
So he just was like, yo, come play.
Shad was playing
but
with
then
KI?
I think like what happened was the indoor season, I had brought my own team in.
Yeah.
And I think Sasha was playing for the Raiders.
Yeah.
But then they had the Dogs. So then somehow they got us on the Dogs. I don't know. It's something like that. I don't know if it was like the year before. I don't really.
I can't remember, to be honest, if it was like Shad or Booth or Delroy or who was it that actually like got me onto the team. But the way it's been like a lot of guys that are on the team now are guys that are very familiar.
It's from Rogues, right?
A lot of the Rogues connection too. Yeah, from that team back in the day in Oshawa. So, in the end, it's been obviously a great experience.
So you've been in TFont for going on 10 years now.
Yeah, just maybe over 10, 11 years,
10, 11. And exact same year like you guys joined? Oh, that's crazy. And you played touch before that, or no?
I played touch, but I wasn't playing like on another team before.
Okay. So that's pretty much the history of Marko. I don't know if you had anything else before we kind of deep dive into the KI Marko.
No, I don't.
Yeah?
Matt? You want to talk about Dolphins? Okay.
Did we smash the Thunder, and you want to talk about it, or even in high school? Where'd you go to high school? Who was your high school team?
East York. We weren't really
East York.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah. No, when I played Scarborough, we beat Pickering every year.
Oh, wow.
My age group. Yeah.
I wasn't
Wow.
Where's the wah wah wah? But
we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Those Dolphins are where it's at. I respect it. Scarborough's always had the best like talent.
yeah,
They're just.
Did Darren Diedrich play for Scarborough?
Yeah,
Remember that name?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he did.
Right?
I'm pretty sure.
He was our generation. He was good. He was good. He went to Nebraska.
The only
Scarborough Thunder.
Those are the real ones.
The only issue we had with the team was Ottawa Myers Riders.
Oh, that's when they expanded. Yeah, you're in the younger
newer generation.
Yeah,
No, Burlington Stampeders. Shout out Burlington Stampeders. I don't know if they're still good, but they were always killing it.
Yeah,
they were always
top
tough.
of the line.
I know you guys beat him that one year, right? You and Eric, that team.
One time.
Brandon in the finals.
One time.
Hey, that was a big one.
Yeah,
though.
it was massive. That was massive.
The legends still talk about that game.
So in the past 10, 11 years, what was the KI's biggest rival, you think, in T-Font?
Ooh, KI's biggest rival.
That maybe, I guess maybe like you had a hard time throwing against, or I guess maybe the team as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the Piranhas, to be honest. I mean,
Old Piranhas or fish dogs?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the new Piranhas, they're so new that we only played them once and they beat us, but we'll get them back. But anyways, the old Piranhas, I mean, we had a lot of battles with them. Like you got to understand, KI, it took us a couple of years, right, to get where we were an elite team, right? So the first, Joe, maybe 3-4 years, we never even made it to a AA final, I don't think, right? And then eventually we finally, or maybe year 3.
Slow down. You're talking about nationals-wise.
I'm talking about any tournament.
No.
It was at least year 3, wasn't it?
We won Kingston in our second year.
Was it second? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the first year we played against, like, we were kind of, so we started in like tier 2.
Yeah.
And then I think we had worked our way up.
Yeah.
Like we went to like a couple A finals or something like that. And then the second year by Kingston, I think we beat Trojans and like.
You're right. That Kingston AA, I think, yes, Spartans in the semis and then Trojans in the final. Yes. And that was big for us, right? 'Cause I was like, okay,
massive.
we're here now. We can compete with these guys. And from there on, it kind of rolled, right? And we consistently won AA tournaments, maybe a couple every year, right? For a good 4, 5, 6 years. Obviously, the 2 national championships are obviously going to stick out in my mind as big moments for us, right? Beating the Piranhas in that game and Hamilton was amazing, right? That was a great feeling. And then the second one against the Hounds was great too. But yeah, I would say Piranhas, we've always had battles against. The Trojans, I'm still to this day so rattled about losing to them in Edmonton, like in that final. Like that was one of, if not maybe the best team we ever had. And we had smashed the Piranhas in the semis and then we just blew it in the finals. So
what was it about that game that happened?
That game was in the snow.
Okay, but both teams were
both teams were in the snow. It was just,
were you guys short put or just like no?
We were just I'll be honest with you, they played more physical that game. We didn't match their physicality on defense. They were bumping, clutching, grabbing our receivers. And like, you know what? For the most part, you're going to get away with that kind of stuff in these tournaments, right? So they did it and they got away with it and they played physical with us. And we had a couple plays early in the game. Remember where we didn't make the plays and then we were just playing catch up the whole game. And yeah, that one hurt.
Let's just say what the plays were. Jay batted the ball up to Hector. He's just give him a little bump, just a little adjustment.
Yep.
Yo, the Winnipeg Rebellion hates Bo. They literally wrote Bo in the biggest, like
in the snow. Yeah.
They wrote Bo
field size Bo, like the whole. You can see if you watch the video. It's probably still on Facebook or whatever.
God.
If you watch the video, they wrote Bo, and it will never be forgotten.
Snow,
Bo
yeah.
in the snow. Yeah. Bo in the snow. This guy had, in my opinion, he had at least 2 picks that potentially could.
Well, on the first drive, there was a pick 6 that he dropped. I think those guys, the Winnipeg guys, got in his head on that one. I think so.
They fucked him up.
He would have walked into the end zone on that one. Still love you, Bo, though. I love you. But
one thing I remember is that, like, before the game, like, I remember our team, like, by the fireplace warming up and stuff because it's so cold. And, like, the Trojans are outside warming up and skids, like, they're good to go. And, like,
fucked.
I think it played a factor because, like, it like you could just tell by the way that we were playing in the snow that we weren't playing like we were comfortable. We were playing like, oh my God. I think a factor was that we weren't on that field. So the fields are different.
Yep.
I think when we were playing like the Piranhas on the other field, I think it wasn't as bad, the footing. And when we came over to that field for whatever reason, I think because it was on turf, it didn't take to the snow. Like the snow wasn't really like going away. Whereas in the grass, it's melting or whatever. I don't fucking know, but I've never been to a tournament or anything since where, like, literally we played the first 2 days, great weather.
Yeah.
And then you wake up on Monday morning and there's like
so bad.
6 inches or whatever of snow. It's like, what the hell?
You're high stepping in the snow. It was
like, I didn't sign up for a winter league. Like,
but you know what? Like I said, we played really good in that first game on that Monday or whatever it was against the Piranhas and had a really solid game. And then whatever, it just, anyways, we don't need to talk about that anymore. But
sorry, just to go back on it quickly, like, so for the Piranhas, I remember like that first year we went to Montreal. I think we lost to them in the semis, but we were still like, that was our second year. We were just happy to be there. Although like we felt like, you know what, we could play with them. They were amazing at that point. Yep. So at that point they were going on their like undefeated streak and stuff like that. So I think like that next year is when it's like, all right, now we're playing with them. We probably beat them once or twice or whatever the case was. Yep. And now it became that, okay, it's KI or it's Piranhas. Yep. And then every year that's kind of what it did for like however many years. And anyways.
Yeah, that was a good rivalry there for 4 or 5 years. You're right. I mean, I think we lost to them in the finals twice maybe of nationals, right? And we beat them the one time and then the Hounds the other time. But yeah, that was a good stretch there where we were in AA finals, nationals very consistently, right, for those 4 or 5 years. And now things have changed a little bit now, right? Like we're kind of that outsider team a little bit that's trying to stay in that top 4, right? So to me, EBO and Piranhas are and the Mud Dogs, right? The clear top 3 teams. And then
what do you think about Trojans?
So I was going to say, then you got the Trojans, us. We haven't shown it this year. I know we've been bad this year. I mean, but we'll be there. We'll be there once we have the full squad. And the Assassins, shout out Assassins. They've been going off this year. Yeah. I mean, we barely beat them in that first tournament, 12-6. So
and apparently there's rumors that they picked up the Hooligans quarterback too. So that should change.
Really?
Yeah. So that should change up things a bit.
Okay.
Just to scratch off another question I was going to ask you, I guess the loss in the finals, does that make it for the top of your list of worst losses?
Worst losses?
Or is there any other one that you can...
Honestly, I think that one probably is the worst. That one is the most, just because we were, I think if we
I want to pull that tournament up just so we could get an idea of what the
if we would have played, again, no disrespect to the Trojans. That was a solid team. Love Jeremy. Those guys are all solid dudes. So that year, I think we had a really good team. If we would have played that game 10 times, I think we probably win 6, 7 of them, right? 8 of them maybe, right? I think they
9.
Maybe 9. Okay. I mean, again, we just had a very good team that year, and it was, things were clicking, right? So, but they got us, right? That one time when we were off our game and they were more physical than us, and they got us. So shout out Trojans.
Just to give you an idea of that tournament, we won 44-0, 28-7, 30-0, 28-12, 27 against Piranhas, and then we end up losing the finals. Like, we're dominating.
Yeah.
Just lost in the finals.
Dominating. That's crazy.
That was the worst one because that's the one I felt like we had the best chance of winning out of the ones we lost. And then I can't remember. We lost at least one other one to the Piranhas, and I mean, they were super tough.
What do you mean? We lost the Piranhas by 1 point. That one to me. That one.
Was there a 1 pointer?
That was before the year before we won. The year before we won, we lost by 1 point.
Oh,
that's crazy.
That one hurt.
Was that the one when I hit the crossbar on that pass to Kevin Park?
Yeah. Right before half.
The detail that you guys can remember, like such little things.
That's
crazy.
That's devastating. Yeah, that's devastating.
But anyways,
that's insane. Okay, so I don't know if this is a good question to ask, but who on KI would you say has been like the best receiver? Your favorite receiver?
Wow. Put me on the spot.
Well, it matters. Like, what do you mean? Like, for a year? For, like, overall? Because, like...
Overall.
Okay.
Overall.
I mean, we can do both. But
okay.
I'm going to say overall.
Joe, you got to help me here. Let's list off the guys so I'm making sure I'm not forgetting. So let's go.
Well, of all time, you got to... Like the guy
I know what the greatest catch of all time is. We can come back to that, but
absolutely. That is
okay. So there's
hopefully have that footage.
All right, Rassi, Brandon.
I would say it's got to be Rassi in his
prime. Corey.
Yeah, fuck.
Who else have we had? We've had
Arian at one point was the guy.
We've had
Raph.
We've had. You know what? Like, if I think about the whole 10, 11 years, what guys have been there basically the whole time? So Rassi's one. Keem was at it a little bit later. Corey a little bit later. Probably, look, it would be an easier response if Rassi could actually stay healthy for a whole season. But like when it comes to like relying on a guy when I need a first down, right?
Yes.
2 guys that come to mind are Rassi and Brandon, right? Because they're those guys. They can do those double moves. They know how to get open, right? So,
I've never seen Rassi play.
Well, exactly, because he's always hurt. Shout out Rassi.
I've never actually.
Now, the greatest catch, I have to say this, the greatest
Yeah.
catch in KI history. Now, Joe, keep me honest here if I'm missing something, but I think it's got to be the 3rd and 20 in the national championship final against the Piranhas in Hamilton when the Piranhas decided to play man, 3rd and 20, and I ran Akeem on a deep corner, and I just launched it up there, and he went up and made a big, massive catch up
That's
top.
when
I think it was over
the
Hughes.
guy.
And that was our biggest catch ever, I think. Can you think of anything else outside
No,
of that? I mean, I
no,
don't think so, right?
To be honest, a lot of those things, like, I will say this, and like, it's not even disrespect to anybody right now, but like, man, that Piranhas team that they had was
Good.
fucking disgusting. So,
Was Megatron on that team still?
100%.
It was, right?
100%. That
Yeah.
team was insane. So, and then he's making that catch over Hughes, who's like at that time
Just an
is
overall solid player.
If
Yeah.
he's not, he's got to be top 5 in the league at that point.
Yeah.
So, insane catch. Hopefully, you have the video so we can just slap it right there so everyone can see.
I think there is a video on it somewhere. Yeah.
We'll find it.
Slap it on.
Yeah.
Shout out Akeem.
Yeah.
So since we're on the topic of like catches, do you have any memory of like the worst drops, like any like game-winning touchdowns or like anything like that you can think of? If not,
So a funny drop happened in that game. Do you remember the one where it was
Same
like a
game.
3rd down and 6? So I was giving you props, Rossi. Now I'm gonna dog you. It was a 3rd and 6, and it was like a hook maybe, and I threw it to him, and it went off his hands, dropped down to his foot. He kicked it into the Piranhas guy's hands for an interception.
And I think we got video
We
footage.
definitely
of that one.
have that one on video.
But
No
I
way.
actually have a better. Well, fuck! I got so many drops in my head that just give me nightmares. But this is literally to me the funniest drop of all time is Cole's drop when he bounced off his face.
Oh yeah, that one fade in Markham. Yeah,
Bang,
right off his face.
That was by far that
So
one
wait,
was
if you
hilarious.
drop the ball, kick it, it's not dead at the kick.
No?
If somebody else,
What, yeah. And it was kind of like an inadvertent kick. Like he just kind of, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like it was his instinct to like put his foot out. If you actually did a full kicking motion, I don't know if that's different, but this was just kind of an inadvertent kick,
Just
and
with the
it went
action.
right to the defender's hands. Yeah.
To be honest, it actually worked out better because if he just dropped the ball, they would have got the ball up closer. So it was
Yeah.
like,
It
all
was
right.
3rd down, so
it
I
was a
mean,
good punt.
the
It was a
drop
good-
was the bigger thing. It just was funny that he kicked it to a defender,
oh
but
my god.
yeah.
Rassi's a KI legend for sure.
Yeah, he is. He is.
A lot of highlights, a lot of lowlights.
we dog him a lot, but you know he's a solid.
And he's been on the team. Same.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
I think the full time. Yeah.
Getting serious for no reason. All right. This is my questions are getting deep sometimes. So we gotta tackle these areas of football sometimes. I don't think we talk about it as much. But you are a father of 2,
2. Yep.
married.
Married. Yep.
I already like where this is going.
I think like it doesn't get talked about enough, but like maybe can you talk about maybe some of the struggles or like I guess you could say struggles with like obviously balancing the two. Like you're playing football at a very high level. It's obviously takes some dedication. Obviously some people are more dedicated than others, but you know, when you have family to attend to, could you speak to that or?
Yeah, that's, I mean, you know, and I think that's something that our team struggles with a little bit because not struggles, but I mean like in numbers, right? And having enough guys at tournaments because a lot of our guys, you know, I'd say we're a little bit of an older team, right? Compared to some teams, and a lot of folks on our team have kids now, right? And they're building families, right? And I think on our team this year, we have at least 2 guys that are having kids this year, and I think at least one getting married. So you have to strike a balance, right? I mean, family time's important, right? The fact that that last tournament is now on Father's Day, the last 2 years is, I'm assuming there's a reason, and that's maybe the only weekend they can do it. But that's tough, right?
You gotta talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I don't know if that's where you're kind of going with,
No,
but like
no,
the
no.
fact
No,
that
but-
that tournament is on Father's Day is tough, right? Because you want to be with your kids. You want to be with your family. My kids, my wife, they want to be with me on Father's Day. So being away from them is hard, right? So I know some guys will bring their families and kind of spend the weekend there. But again, sometimes it's hard to you have 2 young kids at a football tournament for 2 straight days and it's hot out or maybe it's raining. I mean, there's logistical challenges, right?
Facts.
So, it kind of is what it is, and it's important, right? You got to strike that balance, and like you said, some will maybe do it better than others, and will find ways to make it happen and commit a little bit more. But everyone has their own ways that they handle it in their own situation. So I can't comment on one method being better than the other, but it's tough. And you guys all have kids here, right? So I mean, you guys know
100%.
You feel what I'm saying.
100%.
But like, so coming from someone whose partner isn't in T-Font, like, is she now like used to it? Like, or is it still like?
Yeah, she's used to it, and she supports it because that's like my thing, right? I like to go out and I like to play football and be with the guys, right?
Yeah.
And maybe other guys, they like to go out and go to a bar and have drinks or go downtown and club and do whatever, right? So for me, this is the thing that I do, right? I go out and I play football and I hang out with the guys and maybe we'll barbecue and then maybe we'll have a couple drinks after the game and she fully supports it, right? So shout out Dina.
So you brought it up, the barbecue. I think, is there any history you want to lay down about the barbecue? Because those that
don't know, I'm still new to the barbecues. We're still new to the barbecues, but I already know that's where we want to be after the tournament.
So KI barbecues have been, I don't know if legendary is a little bit, but too much, but it's,
it's getting there. It's definitely getting there.
It is like, I don't know how it started. Maybe early on, one of those first few years, right? Yeah. We would, bring a barbecue and then, we would get spadooch and Saigon ribs, right? And like premium quality meat, right?
What was the pork? What's that? Porchetta?
Porchetta, like a porchetta thing, right? So
with the stuffed potatoes?
Yeah.
Baked potato?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys had it.
Those were the days.
We would go big, right? Yeah. And I mean, I think that was, again, from a team bonding thing and like having a really nice barbecue like that, it was always big for us. And it kind of not evolved, but it just continued over the years. And, we've gone through probably 4 or 5 barbecues over the years, right? But that's always one of our recruiting points, right? It's like, hey, the KI barbecues, right? I mean,
it's a good point.
They're good. This is good quality meat, right? Like that spadooch is legendary. Everyone's heard of the spadooch.
Yeah. I know for a fact if I'm hungry, I'm heading there.
Yeah, and
there's enough food.
Sure.
Yeah, so those are big. Yeah,
a lot of people learned what spadooch was from the KI barbecue.
Yeah. What is spadooch?
That's a fact.
Lamb spadini, so it's like lamb just on skewers. Yeah.
I've had that and it is amazing.
And you put a little vinaigrette sauce on there and a little Vincentina's steak spice. Yeah, and it's off the chain.
Yeah, that stuff is super good. Yeah. I'm asking about this because I genuinely don't know what it is, but can you tell us about the Marko hat smash?
Ooh.
Hat slap.
So
legendary.
What's that about?
It's funny.
Footage of that.
People talk about it, right? I don't do it as much, but yeah, like sometimes. So generally, when I'm playing, I'll wear a hat, right? I would have my Broncos hat, because the team I used to play for in Europe was the Kalina Broncos, so I had a Broncos hat. So that was always kind of my go-to hat for tournaments. I like the Broncos in general, but I'm a 49ers fan actually. So. So yeah, like there's been a few times where there's like a really big drop, right, or just maybe someone ran the wrong route, right, and it cost us an important play or maybe a turnover on downs or whatever, and sometimes the frustration just boils over, and I'll take the hat and slam it down and again, not often, right? Nowadays, maybe I'll do it once or twice a season, right? And it also depends, right? If it's someone who like will drop a pass, but they never drop passes, then it's different, right? But it's just depends on the situation.
The reoccurring thing.
And yeah, I mean, whatever. Now it's more of a joke, right? It's like I'll come off to the sideline if someone drops a pass or if someone does something, and they'll be like, "How come you didn't slam your hat that time?" And it's just like, I think I've gotten older and wiser now, and I just voice my frustrations in different ways now. Yeah, I'll do that kind of like I have done those.
On the sideline, like
just waiting for it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't slam it.
was the infamous Marko
Yeah.
slam.
Yeah.
No, what I
slam.
find is that he's nice to the new guys or whatever. If it's one of the vets, he's slamming that. Rassy, he's slamming that on Rassy for sure.
That should
They
be-
know.
They should. That should be like a earned thing.
Buddy, if Marco fucking throws his hat on the ground and it was your fault, buddy,
You're
don't even
fucked.
look. Just put your head down and
Just walk.
get to the sideline
It's
You haven't
a
done it
as far as
yet this season,
possible.
then, I assume.
I haven't done it this season, but I did do the fake out. I did do it where I wanted to, and then I just didn't. And I don't remember what play it was, but you know what? It's a heat of the moment thing. In the end, it's
Yeah.
your emotions get the best of you, but it's all love.
I like that. I don't know if you know. You can ask anything about that. The old school KI. Anything to touch up on there?
Any like stories you can remember from like the old school KI when we had the old like the OGs like Delroy, Travis, Ange, fucking Booth. Any like
all on the team at the same time?
yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. It's
crazy.
Wild.
No, I mean, nothing in particular that I could think of, but I mean, speaking to those guys, right, and those, the OG legends, right, and Delroy, Travis, and these guys, I mean, I learned a lot from those guys, right? I mean, I came in as a tackle football guy, like a lot of guys, right? Robbie also, yeah. I mean, by the way, that picture of them where they put their heads on those, can you, let's
get that up.
get that one up too on the podcast, because that's the greatest picture ever that was made. But yeah, those guys, I mean, all great guys. I think having those guys is kind of, I don't know if mentor is the right word, but just having those older guys as I was starting on in touch football. And because I'm not going to lie, my first year in touch football, it was rough. Like it takes time to get accustomed to the type of game. But I know those guys love playing dominoes, right? And they still do to this day. That's one thing that I kind of think of when I think about those guys, just slamming dominoes. And even nowadays, right, it's still going. So got a lot of love for those guys for sure.
That's sick.
I'm gonna ask this question again. Go ahead.
To be honest, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Just to get out the way, who's the best rusher that has ever rushed you?
The best rusher that
There's
has
only
ever
one
rushed me. The best rusher that has ever rushed me. Joe, give me some ideas. I'm drawing blanks here. So, my favorite rusher of all time.
Yes.
Maybe not the best, but one of the most solid ones. My guy from the Seminoles, Mark. He was a great dude. He always came hard at me. So I shout out to him. The best. See, like for me, a rusher, it's not a big deal because I'm not going to try and run, right? Like for the most part, I'll run a little bit, but it's not like I'm going to, like, oh, this guy's slower, I'm going to juke this guy, right? For me, it was more the tougher rushers were always the ones, of course, the ones that got to me quicker, but the longer, lankier ones, right? That could actually like get up and knock the balls down. Occasionally I'll break out a juke or whatever, and occasionally it'll work. But I mean, I used to do that a lot more when I was younger. Nowadays, I run maybe once a game, right? But I don't know. I'm trying to think of rushers. I'm drawing blanks right now.
I'm not familiar with them.
Well, you know what it is? The game's changed, and it's so funny. Like when we first came in, we were the young. They're like, KI, the young guys, blah, blah, blah. And now we're the fucking old team, which is crazy. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, you obviously understand, but like, they obviously don't understand how crazy it is from going to the young team to people be like, that's the old team now. It's like,
For sure.
oh, wow, that's cool.
No, we are old now. And by the way, I just thought of like I can answer current toughest rusher for me right now is probably the guy from the Assassins. That guy is long.
Oh, what's his name?
Is it Pius?
Pius. He was in
that guy is long, and he knocks balls down a lot, and he's fairly athletic too, right? So it's hard to get around him. And then I also remember when we played the Hounds in that national championship game 4 years ago, whenever that was. Yeah. Cole and Braden combined that game. And remember, we won that game 20-0, but they knocked down combined, I think, at least 5-6 balls that
which
game.
is ridiculous.
So that goes to show you, right? Long, lankier guys, right? It's not about the speed.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving other teams pointers here, but
why do you think that is? Is it just like a structure? Like
I think it's just like those guys are probably coming in hotter because they know I'm not as likely to run, so they're comfortable just coming in big like that. And I always like going against shorter.
I guess the height helps.
Because then I can throw over the middle. I remember the one year the Trojans had like a really short white dude rushing me, and I could just throw it over the middle, and he wouldn't even put his hands up, right? So, yeah. If you want to really rattle a quarterback, if you're not a runner like me, have a long, lanky guy.
There you go. There you fucking go.
Do you have any, or you do, like crazy KI stories? I'm talking down to the fights, like anything.
Oh, well. I think to me, there's tons. I don't know what he remembers or whatever, but like obviously, like man, we have characters on our team. I remember. Listen. There's so many shit that's happened over the years. You have to remember when a lot of us joined the team were in our late 20s and 30s and stuff, and now we're older now. So yeah, there's been a lot of times. I would rather wait to see if any of these people can come on so that I could call them out for some of their actions. But we've been through it all.
One of the cool things was the MVD, right? So one of the things that KI has in tradition is like, and maybe not so much of late, but for about an 8-year stretch, we would have the MVD award, which was the most valuable drunk. And that would be for the Kingston tournament. And I mean, there's some legends that have won that, right? It's like Bo put out an amazing performance that one year. Drew Pottle.
I think Drew Pottle ended it. I think he won like a couple of years in a row.
He
like,
might have.
Just end it.
Sasha won it one year. That year he was heckling Brian. Was that year? That was a legendary performance. Jesse Andrews, if we're going way back.
Yeah. He's inaugural. The first.
He might have been the first one. Yeah. Who else? Who am I missing here?
You never won it?
I don't know.
I don't think. I don't know.
I don't
think so.
I don't know.
No, but yeah, like
but those are the ones that I can.
Those are the most memorable ones. Yeah.
For
So
sure.
the most valuable drunk from the Kingston tournament was always kind of a prestigious award. Sure.
And
That's cool.
They definitely, just so you know, to win that award,
you gotta.
You went in.
That's what I like about you guys have such unique things like the drop passes. You gotta buy beer.
Yeah, like another funny
KI
one.
barbecues.
Another crazy one that we've done a couple of times is like I remember one year, actually the year we won specifically, provincials we played in, and we ended up losing to the Ravens, and we dropped down, and then we're like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna go offense. Offense is on defense, and defense is on offense. And I remember we fucking lost the game, but like people were so pissed after that game. But that dropped us to 10th place overall, and then we went to nationals that year, and we actually end up winning. So
yeah,
that story stands out to me.
That's wild.
Yeah, the rankings got flipped on that one.
I think even you were playing defense, and I think Brandon was throwing or something like that. Like
it was all our offense guys were playing D, and all the D guys were playing O, and it didn't go well. I don't even remember who we played, but it was like a lower level team, and we lost.
That was just for fun?
It was just for fun. I think guys were just pissed that we dropped, and we were like, oh, let's do something crazy and just switch our positions. And, I'm not going to name names, but there was a couple receivers who were like, oh, yeah, I'll lock down these guys at corner, and they got cooked. I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. You know who you are.
You know what? And that's a good point. I think that was more of it. I think at that time it was like a lot of like, and this happens on teams where like the offense starts yelling at the defense, or the defense yelling at the offense, and then like guys think they could fucking, just because you're a great receiver, you think you could play defense. Like, bro, like it's more to playing defense than how fast you are or whatever the case is. And it's like, all right, you know what? Cool. You play defense now. Now let's watch. Cooked. All right, we're on offense. Thinking we can catch drop. It's like, all right, now we realize
guys were getting
cooked.
job.
Exactly.
Guys were getting cooked.
You have a job. Go back
Playing
and do
defense
it.
is actually
right?
humbling. It's very humbling.
Yeah, for sure.
I can fucking suck at
For
defense.
sure.
Do you have names? Send them.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, you can ask.
Just
ask
ask.
him.
Yeah.
Ask him.
Yeah.
All right. So, just a quick little fun game. We're just intermission.
Okay.
We're gonna play bench, sit, cut.
It's a little backwards, but
Sit.
Wait.
Start.
Start. I
Bench,
thought of the S.
cut.
Start, bench, cut.
It's all good.
Sorry.
I already know one guy that's going to be cut. So if that name comes up, it's going to be cut. Start, sit, cut. All right. Got it. Start, sit, or cut. All right.
Joe, go first.
So you're going to give me 3 names, and I got to put them in each?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. This is the quarterback category of the start.
Oh, I'm going to have to cut one of these guys? All right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, let's do this. We're gonna go the young kid Braden. We're gonna go Brian, and we'll go. Just to make it a tad bit harder, we'll go Jay Hayes.
Okay, so are we talking about like
You gotta
based off
get-
of all time or like for this season?
Right now, you need to win one game for whatever you got. These are your quarterbacks: start, sit, bench.
Okay.
Cut.
Yeah.
And all three have the same team around them.
Start,
Yeah.
bench, cut.
Start, bench, cut. Okay, so the cut's going to be easy. It's going to be Jay because he hasn't even been playing this year. So
Wow.
I'm just going to cut him. No disrespect, Jay. Amazing quarterback over the years, but just based off of starting right now or for this season, it would have to be Jay would be cut. Braden and Brian. I'm going to... Ooh. And Brian's coming off the national championship. I know that was big for him, right? You know what? I'm going to go. This is a close one, but I'm going to go start Braden and I'm going to go bench Brian. And I'm going to go simply because of two reasons. One, the dual threat that Braden is. And two, what I saw from him in that first tournament this year when they beat us and they won that tournament easily. I was very impressed by that performance in his first ever tournament. Yes, his team is stacked and very good, but still, you got to be the guy and make it happen. So I'll go Braden start, Brian bench.
But you weren't at
Jay
the second.
cut.
You were at the second tournament when Brian went head to head with Braden.
So I wasn't. So I did not see that.
I'm not saying. I didn't say. But okay, all right, that's cool. You know what? And honestly, now I think about it, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said Jay. I should have said what's the Mud Dogs quarterback's name? Jake. I should have said Jake.
That would have been a tougher one for me. Yeah. So thank you for making it easier. Again, like
All right,
just
okay, fine. Let's add him in.
all
Are you
right.
going Jake or are you going Braden? Essentially, that's all we really need.
Yeah. I mean, it's very close. Ooh.
I agree. I think it's a tough one.
You know what? I'm just going to stick with the Braden theme based off of the two reasons I said earlier. Again, Jake, Brian, Braden, all very, very solid. Jay as well, right? Again, he hasn't been playing this year, so that made it easier for me to cut him. But all solid quarterbacks, all guys I have a lot of respect for.
All right.
All right, I'll make it a little bit easier, I guess. Just purely archetypes as a quarterback. Would you rather have like a speed guy, a hands guy, or like an all-around center?
Okay, so you're saying for a receiver, that's a center. Which of those three attributes would I prefer?
No, like three different types of players. You have a pure speed guy,
Okay.
a pure hands guy,
Yeah.
or like an all-around center.
A pure speed guy.
And he's like taking a pick or something. Like he's got to pick one of the three.
No, like
Yeah,
start,
wait, what are you?
Oh, start bench a cut.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, got it.
So by all around center, do you just mean like a guy who is a mix of those two,
Like,
or
he-
just
he's quick, has good hands, not like great, but like more balanced.
And he gets snap. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
so?
Pure hands, no speed.
So I'm gonna say, and this might be controversial, but this is what I'm used to. So I'm gonna go cut the speed guy. I'm gonna start the hands guy. And I'm going to bench the all around center guy. So centers are important, right? You need a good center to win, right? So I can't cut a good all around center. Very important. Hands, like you can be fast, but if you can't catch, if you can't run routes, if you can't do all that stuff, then your speed is mostly useless. So when I associate a hands guy, it's usually a guy who can also run good routes and at least in my experience, right? So I want that reliable hands guy over a speed guy.
Okay.
That would be my answer.
Are you familiar with women's or not too?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So start bench cut.
Okay.
Women's quarterbacks.
Okay.
Christine.
That's the
Rebels.
Rebels quarterback.
Whitney is from Rockets.
Okay.
And Amanda from Vixens.
Okay, so I know Amanda. Is Whitney the one who's like super athletic and
That's
like runs
Olivia.
all over?
That's Olivia.
That's Olivia?
Yeah, Whitney is
Whitney.
Pocket
Talking to
quarterback.
Mike.
Whitney.
Whitney.
She usually you
Yeah,
played
she's
indoor
more
against
thrower.
us.
She doesn't run. She
doesn't run, yeah,
more
yeah.
just throws.
You played and she's our co-ed quarterback too.
Yeah, you've played
If
against
I
her.
see a picture,
Yeah.
I'll. Okay, so let me start thinking about the other two. Amanda, Christine.
Where is she?
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with. Oh wow, Amanda's gonna punch me if I don't say. if I don't.
Family ties.
Jamal's gonna
Let me get the
choke
gunshots ready.
slam me too. Yeah, get the shots ready. You know what? I'm gonna go with and I'm gonna follow the same theme I used for the men. So
Okay.
I'm gonna start Amanda, and I'm gonna start Amanda because she's a true dual threat, right? Like she can run. She's one of the best running quarterbacks out there. She has a lot of good experience, and obviously she has a very strong arm as well. So, did she win a national with Vixens, right?
She did.
The
She
one
did.
year, right?
Yeah,
so
she did.
she's got the pedigree too. Was a national champion also. Christine or Whitney? I'm gonna bench Christine because she's won how many national championships in a row now?
Don't
Like
even
probably like I don't know,
A lot.
a lot, right? Again, been around a long time, very, methodical as she goes down the field. She knows how to find the right matchups. Obviously, she has a lot of great receivers. That's an obvious thing with the Rebels, right? So she just gets the job done, right? Again, you can have all the amazing athletes in the world, but at quarterback, you have to be able to get the job done and understand the game, right? You could bring in who's a good NFL quarterback, Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers to touch football in T-Font with an amazing team, but there's no guarantees they're going to win because they have to understand the game, right? So I'm going to go with Amanda start, Christine bench, and then Whitney. I know her. I've seen her play a little bit, and just by being the third one, I'm going to cut you. Sorry, Whitney.
Gotta throw the
No
women's in
disrespect, but someone had to be cut. So
Whitney,
that was
just so
a
you
tough
know,
guy.
is at Marko 13 on
there.
Instagram.
Cancel.
There's always going to be two people here who are not happy with me with the answer. So
No, it's all good.
shout out to all of them,
No,
though.
that's cool. That's
All very good quarterbacks.
I don't know too many like top receiver men's names. Let's
Ooh.
think. Hold on. All right, I got one. Don't look. You're not allowed to look.
Why don't you give me like one piranha, give me one mud dog, and give me one.
A
Don't give me a
piranha.
KI. Give me a piranha, a mud dog, and an EBO.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay. What about
okay.
what about instead of one? How about all? You take the
As
Piranhas
like-
receivers, the
No.
Mud Dogs receivers.
Nah.
No.
No. Okay.
That's easy way out.
How's that?
All right, so which receiver from each team? This is gonna get juicy now, and someone's gonna be upset. So
Okay,
this is
so
gonna get juicy.
Well,
Let's
yo,
go. Yeah. Hold on.
wait.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the other from the other team.
I can already think of guys
I
on
don't
each
know.
team that you're
I don't
probably
know.
gonna use.
Yeah, is that it? All right. Okay.
Let's go with that.
Piranhas. We have Johnny.
That's the center, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
EBO. It's Pinto.
Okay.
Mud Dogs. Harry. Wide receiver.
Right. That's the young kid, right?
Yeah.
The white kid.
Hoodie.
Okay. All right. I mean, look, everyone it's like I probably should say Pinto start, right? I mean,
It's a no fucking brainer.
I mean, he has proven himself to probably be the best touch football player in Canada, right? So, shout out Pinto.
hold on, the real Pinto or Nathaniel Pinto? I'm joking. That's why it's a joke. I'm fucking with you. But yo, Travell is a beast. I'm just
He's good.
saying.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're
No
talking
doubt.
about Nathaniel.
Yeah, Nathaniel, obviously.
Mr. TSN.
Yeah, you know what?
Mr. TSN.
I'm going to go with Pinto. I feel like every podcast, he gets praise heaped on him. So Pinto, I'm just going to keep it there. I'm going to start you.
Give me short.
I got love for you. Johnny or Harry. So, this one's tough because they're both very different roles and positions, right? So, I'm gonna keep the theme of what I said earlier, and center is a very important position. So, I'm gonna go with Johnny because I think you have to have an amazing center, and he is, top tier center, right? Maybe the best one in T-Font right now, right? Maybe or probably.
I mean, I think it's
pretty for certain.
Yeah.
It's pretty certain.
I don't think
He's just,
that's a debate. I don't think that's a debate at this moment. At this moment,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a debate.
That guy is fast. He runs good routes. He has good hands. And as far as I know, he's a team player. He's a team guy too, right?
Absolutely.
So
He runs
and then
good
look,
routes.
Harry, he's the guy who I'm going to have to cut. But I mean, I don't want to cut him. Can I somehow keep
Sub him
him
in?
or start him also? Like
facts.
that guy is a solid player.
There's room on the bench.
He has hurt us over these
Oh
last
my
couple of
God.
years. We've had trouble covering him. Like we've had to match up Troy, right, and just man to man. And like sometimes Troy will win, but sometimes Harry will win, right? It's a tough matchup and very athletic, very smart, good hands, all that stuff. So shout out Harry. I'm gonna have to cut you, but you're a very good receiver too. So that's who I would go with if you had to go with those
that
three.
was good. That was good.
Nice.
All right, so that's our little segment. That's our start bench cut. Unless
Nice.
you have a third one, but I think those are
No, that was good. That was
fantastic.
amazing. And we're almost out of time, so we have one quick other question before we just get into the next little thing.
Yep. That one or the other one?
Yeah, might as well. Go for it.
Who, off the top of your head, can you remember that are phenomenal receivers that you haven't thrown to, but you would like to?
So T-Font, just guys that I've never thrown to. Okay.
Would you say never thrown to in
In T-Font or like in any league or like
I guess because the league's mix. So there's probably some guys that you have thrown to.
all right.
I don't know, just anyone that you haven't thrown to. It can be in other leagues. It can be.
Yo.
So okay.
I had a better. Oh, I'm so rat. I didn't think about that. What the fuck?
Go ahead.
We
Go
can
ahead.
toss it in.
Go ahead.
We can save it. Write it here. Save it. And then we'll come back.
All right. So how much time left? Because I know we're running out of time.
Nigga knows my shit.
A minute. Okay. Yeah. So Harry from the Mud Dogs. I'm just gonna try and pick one from each team. Piranhas, I would have loved to have thrown to Megatron because
Oh my
that guy
God.
was like they've had so many great receivers over the years, like him and Malcolm and Hickey and Hughes and all these guys, right? So, but Megatron was just literally a freak. That guy.
Who is Megatron? Have I seen him?
Yo, hold on. Fuck that. I got a better
Wait,
start.
okay, hold on.
Start cut.
Yeah, we
thing.
gotta, yeah.
You got a
Oh,
new
We
yeah.
have two more start bench cut groups. Starting, okay, so we have Coates.
Hold on. This is overall. This is because this is just overall. Anytime.
Okay, yeah.
just
so
as
like,
an overall player.
Yeah. Like even from,
And we're starting with Coates. Okay.
yeah.
yeah.
So
All right.
we have Coates, Pinto, and Megatron.
Okay. So overall, okay. So, and is this just over time or for this year?
Over
For
time.
now?
Over time. So
Okay.
Megatron in his prime.
Yeah, Megatron in his prime. Okay, Coates or Pinto. So I'm gonna cut Megatron. Even though arguably he was overall arguably the best receiver out of those in his prime. I mean, that guy was good. That guy was good.
That guy. His name's not Megatron for no reason.
Yeah. So, but you can't throw. You can't kick.
Oh fuck! I guess you gotta. You're,
You can't
you're
throw.
putting it all
you
into.
can't
yeah.
kick. And defender, he was solid.
Yeah, he was
but
good.
Yeah.
He was good.
so a lot of respect for him, but I'm going to cut him. Coates or Pinto? Whew. You know what? I'm going to start Coates. Because
Dogs Nation.
he has Dogs Nation. Yes, I wasn't even thinking about that. I think he has the biggest quarterback arm I've seen ever in T-Font.
It's fucking crazy.
Would you agree with that?
Braden's arm's pretty big.
No, Coates is bigger.
Braden played that whole tournament and it didn't even look like he even strained his arm when he was throwing. He looked like he just flicked the ball.
What do you
literally
think?
Just like
What do you think?
nonchalantly just like
Who's got a bigger arm?
Coates
I've never seen
actually
Coates.
winds up and throws it. I'm not saying he doesn't have an arm, but he looks like he's throwing
Like
the ball.
if Braden was to
Braden's
wind
just
up the
like-
same way
he's
type
just like-
thing and like
I think
Boom.
Coates puts it more on a line.
Yeah,
But
Boom, so many yards.
downfield, Braden might have more yardage.
it's close. I guess
it's
yeah,
hard
it
to
could
say.
be.
I don't like nobody. You can't tell.
But you're
how
right, though.
many yards.
Coates can throw like a 45, 50-yard rope, right? Rope. And I've seen it over the years playing indoor with him, and obviously a tremendous receiver also, right? CFL receiver, a solid defender also, right? So Pinto right up there with, like I said, he is the best overall T-Font player right now if we're thinking about receiver, defender. But Coates, a very good quarterback too. So in a very close one, and Pinto, I already started you on the other one. So Coates, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start Coates. I'm gonna bench Pinto. Yes, I'm probably the first person who's ever benched Pinto in one of these things.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm gonna cut Megatron.
All right,
good.
easy. And last one. This
right.
is ETFL.
Purely ETFL.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say your brother because that's an obvious start. Who should also be a first-round pick next year.
You should be a first round pick too, though.
I like being lower.
Let's talk about
What was
it.
it, fourth round
I'm
pick?
just.
Wake it up.
Let's talk about it,
You
right?
also
I like my 89 overall rating. Anyways, Anton. You have Dickinson, and then Trevine, new guy, ETFL.
Hold on, say it again.
Anton,
Yeah.
Trevine,
Yeah.
and Dickinson.
Yo, that's good.
So for those people who don't know, so here a little background on this one, right? So
That's great.
so Anton was our first round pick. Dickinson, I think, was our third.
Yeah.
And Trevine. So a little background for the fans here. Trevine is a first year player. He was rated a 90 by Don Schramm, which a lot of people questioned.
That was blasphemy at the time.
A lot of people
Blasphemy.
questioned it, right? Because no one knew who this guy was. Like, I think he had just told Don in a via an email or something like, yeah, I'm a really solid player and I play in this league or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So Don rated him a 90, and a lot of people at his draft were like, who is this guy? No one even knows who this guy is, and you're giving him a 90, right? So, and he was linked with two other guys who were later round picks. So, so you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going, and this is tough because these are all great guys. We just won the championship, which I know we're going to talk about in a minute. I'm going to give Trevine the start
Wow.
because out of those three guys, they all had great years, but Trey at receiver had the bigger year. And also being a first year player, right, in the league, no one really knew about him, really did what we needed him to do. So I'm going to start Trey.
I would say he also overperformed his projection, because he was. The point you didn't make was that he was supposed to be projected to go in the third round, but you guys ended up getting him in the seventh
or eighth. Yeah. So
Wow.
absolutely overachieved, and we got him in the seventh round, and it was a steal. And I remember me and Sasha, because he was at the draft with me, and we're like, do we take the risk? Do we take these guys? This guy's rated a 90, and we just did it, and obviously it worked out in our favor. So I'm going to go with Trey, and then for the bench, I'm going to go with close one. I'm going to go with Anton. Overall, had a very solid year. One thing I'll say about Anton, I'd never played with him before. Right? I'd only known from him being with the Bullets and playing with Scoop and all that. He had to take a little bit of a backseat this year to Sasha, right? Like Sasha was clearly the number one receiver, and I respect Anton because he knew that he was the number one receiver that Sasha was, and basically after him, between Trey, Anton, Dickinson, Dale, and these other guys, like all those guys, it was evenly distributed for those other guys, right? So being a team player, solid receiver, and then really important on our defense, right? Being one of our two safeties. And then Dickinson, I love the guy. I have to cut someone. I'm sorry, but an overall very, very solid player, both sides of the ball for us, and an even better person. Like, honestly.
Forget that. Even better name. Dick Dickinson? Are you kidding me?
Dick Dickinson, yep.
That's a fucking amazing name.
Absolutely. Yeah, great.
Stupid.
Yeah, so that was a tough one, but all great guys, and I know we'll talk about them more in here in a bit.
Speaking of ETFL,
Ooh,
Let's go, cameraman.
there
You
it
guys are going to
is.
get a little glimpse of the cameraman for a second. He exists.
There it is.
Yep.
There it is, folks.
So for those that don't know, we have a champ in the building. ETFL champ. Finals was against Pacus?
Yep. And I was there. I showed up.
Oh, yeah, you went. Oh,
yeah,
he made an appearance. Also, for
motherfuckers.
those that don't know, Joe doesn't show up to anything.
Oh, I was there. I was there.
That's
You know
not
what I'm
true,
saying?
actually. Joe shows up to almost everything.
Yeah, I
Anything
like,
that we're
legit.
supposed to be at, Joe's,
okay,
Joe's
okay.
not there.
Listen, anything that I am obligated to do, I'll show up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Send the bag,
Look
send
at
the
that,
food,
right here.
send the liquor, send
champ is
something.
here.
You want me to show up? I gotta know that I'm getting something at the end of the day. I'm just like you that like
There it is.
at the end of the day we're gonna go to the banquet and we gotta talk about the banquet too.
All right. Oh, did you go? You went to it?
Yeah, and
Okay.
honestly, I got good things to say. But
All right, perfect. So finals was against Pacus. Final score was 38-28. I wasn't there, so
so
tell
hold
me
on,
about
hold on. Let me yeah.
Set the
I was gonna say, tell
stage.
me
Set
about
the
it.
stage, Joe. Set the
So-
stage.
So I got there. It was it was kind of cool. Windy, but it was nice weather. Nice football weather, they would say. It wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. Came there with my daughter. She didn't get hungry till we got there, and I had to order her sushi because that's what she wanted. Anyways, now that has anything to do with
Standards.
anything. But
She got
yeah,
standards.
yeah. Anyways, got there, and yeah, I obviously said on the podcast who I was rolling with, so that was cool.
Who did you pick?
I picked you guys.
Okay.
Matt
making
picked,
sure.
Matt picked the Packases, just so we know. And the game started, and it looked like it was just a little shootout. Like you guys were just going at it. Everyone was scoring, boom, 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 and then eventually someone decided to play defense. And then from what I remember, there was a couple stops, and then it seemed like in about the fourth quarter or so, the game started to get serious, and that's when it was like, okay, that you could tell that the dry started to matter. But I think overall, I think you guys got stopped one time, and then Pacus got stopped a couple times at the end there, and that was a difference maker. But obviously, you could tell us your perspective on it.
Yeah. So first of all, going into that game, you know, Pacus, seasoned veteran, has been in that league many years, knows the league well, always drafts well. Of course, he got the number one pick and got Pinto, right? So
As usual.
you know, like going into that game, we know it's going to be a tough game, right? I mean, it's obvious. So we had kind of put together a game plan to try and limit Pinto's touches, right? I think we were doubling them for most of the game, if I recall, and put some pressure on some of the other guys to make plays, right? So, but we were going to stick to our strategy. Our strategy was just play a lot of man on defense, and then on offense, they can't stop us. The only way they're going to stop us is if we stop ourselves, right? Because we had like a very, very solid offense with good receivers across the board. So, you know, game started. I think they scored. Then we scored. They scored again. So it's about 14-8. And then they stopped us on third down. Jay, I hate to give Jay a shout out. But I'm going to give him a shout out.
I ISO-cam that.
He bodied up Sasha, bodied him up on 3rd and 5, and completely blew up the play we had.
That play? Like, what was that? Like, was that supposed to be a triple move, or was it an option, or like what happened? Because it looked like
It was Sasha was supposed to come off the line and go deep, and I knew they were going to be in man, and I was probably going to launch it, right? But he just got jammed up so bad, and then I had Trey coming across on a quick under route, but he ran into that pile up, and it just completely ruined the play. And then we went incomplete. So. And then Pacus and them scored. So it was 22-8 at that point. And I think there was 4 plays left. Okay. So, and Pacus is getting the ball, if I recall. So at half. So 22-8, they kick to us. We get a big return. We get like a 50-yard return.
I remember that. I don't remember who fucked up because I wanted to call them out, but
Big return. So that got us to maybe their 30-yard line. And then we got boom, 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 3 plays. We got to about the 15-yard line. And then the last play of the half, threw the touchdown to Sasha on a post in the back of the end zone, which was huge, right? Momentum,
Massive.
like last play, like if we go into that half down 2 scores, like it's a different game. So we score there, we get the 2-point convert, so we're down 22-16, right? And then at half, whatever, we're feeling more confident, and we got to score and we got to get some stops. So then we go into the second half, we score. I think they score. then we get a kickoff return for a touchdown. So I think what it was Sasha got it, went one way, went the other way, pitched it to Trey, and he took it to the house, right? That was a huge momentum swing. So then I think at that point we're up 4, if I recall, or something like that. We stopped them again on a big drive. They had a key drop on a deep ball. I can't remember who dropped it, but that helped us. And then we had the ball. So we were up 4 at this point. So we got to try and ice the game now, right? So we run, we get to there was a couple of very sketchy penalties. Okay. Shout out the refs. You guys are great, but there was a couple of sketchy penalties there in the fourth quarter of that game.
I don't remember.
A couple of offsides, which were, anyways, not a big deal. And
I do remember that offsides getting called, but I don't remember seeing it or whatever.
Whatever. It's fine. In the end, it didn't matter, but we had I think it was a 2nd and 20 or maybe a 3rd and 20. We're a huge play in the game. And our center, Ryan Dale, who was filling in for our usual center, he had a one-on-one matchup and with no help. And he ran a corner and he ran a great route and we made the completion. And that was a huge play in that game, right? And I think 2 days later, 2 plays later, threw a touchdown to Sasha down the sideline and that was the end of it. So overall, it was a great game. It was a tough game. When we were down 22-8, it was really dicey. But shout out to the defense. So Dickinson, Koshi, Dale, Anton, Sasha, Desmond, Carm, all those guys. I know I'm missing someone, but you know who you are. Great job to the defense and offensively. Overall we played well. We had a couple of. I think we had one key drop and then that one play when Jay blew Sasha up. But I mean, we moved the ball pretty well. So. It's nice to get this trophy. This was my first year ever throwing. So it was nice to kind of be able to hoist the trophy. And to your family point earlier, I brought my son. So it was really nice to kind of enjoy that with him there and take pictures of him and be a part of the popping the bottles when Sasha was going off on that.
That's cool.
But one thing I got to say, and I'm sure you're going to mention it too, you're going to talk about the banquet. Shout out to the ETFL. What a tremendous league that is. And it starts at the top with, Stu and Don and I know Sperling has a role and Shane and all these guys. Yep. I know I'm probably missing someone, but what a quality league. Just the way that it's run, scheduling, obviously the social media stuff that Don does is amazing. And then it was culminated with a great banquet too. So shout out to that league. Just really classy league.
That's amazing.
So as for the banquet, where the hell was it again?
It was at that place in North Oshawa. I can't remember what it's called.
Canadian Brew House.
The draft was?
It was at Canadian Brew House at Simcoe and Taunton.
Yep.
No, it wasn't the place of the draft.
Okay.
It was great. The food was good. The food was really good.
Very good.
And
there was lots.
Buffet. Yeah, there was tons of food. The turnout wasn't as big as it usually is, and I was not mad because there was tons of food and it was fucking great.
Hungry.
Yep.
No, it was good. It was good, man.
So
and I was
home?
like, huh?
You took stuff home?
No, I didn't take it. No, I was good. I filled up myself. So like you said, those guys that are running the league did a really good job, and it's important that they get their credit, and we pointed that out. I think that people, if you have the opportunity, you should join this league because number one, it is competitive, and the people that run it, they actually care about making it fun. So they're not. In my opinion, I don't really know, but in my opinion, they're not really here to take your money, and they're not here to make
Definitely
money.
not.
So that's why this league, in my opinion, differs from a lot of other leagues.
And it's super competitive, like you said. From top to bottom, it was very good. The quarterback crop was all solid, right? And there was very good teams. The 2 games that we lost were against 2 of the teams that finished lower in the standings.
Our team. Yep.
Yeah.
We beat you guys and we beat you guys. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
So we're good on the season still.
And then shout out Matt's team. I mean, you guys had a super solid team, and it just goes to kind of show the league just very diverse. A lot of teams can win it, and any given Sunday or any given Saturday, I guess.
Facts. Do you plan to throw again in this league maybe in the future?
So not in the fall. In the fall, I'm not going to throw, but I think next spring I'll come back. Yeah,
that'd be good.
And I asked Don if I can keep the same team, and he said no. So
absolutely not. Honestly, Marco, fuck that. You're not doing that again. I need to be on your team. We gotta work that out.
You're getting.
I'm debating whether I'm going to go into fall to try to lower my draft stock. So when spring comes around, I'm like a
That's crazy.
fifth rounder.
Yourself.
Yo, I need to get in the fourth
No one's
round.
gonna.
You need to lower your stock.
Nah, you're gonna hurt your knee.
Man's
one time
pulling
and
me
stop
up in the
showing up.
second before Matt. How am I getting drafted before Matt? That doesn't even make sense.
My plan worked.
What the fuck is going
No,
on?
you got to
right
be a
now?
first rounder next year.
Yeah,
100%.
we gotta talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, let's
Also,
talk about
I know
that.
Matt's not happy. Matt, tell him, what do you think about his brother being in the second round?
I was actually gonna ask you, because you have someone that you're actually bringing in, and like the what do they call it, like the combining the players, whatever.
Yep.
What do you think about that? Like, obviously, if you have an opportunity to keep Sasha on your team, you're gonna keep Sasha on your team. But for everybody else, like, do you think it's a good idea? Should they?
So I like the so obviously I'm probably a little biased here, right? But I think the sibling thing is I think that makes sense, right? If like literally your brother or your dad, right? Or it's like immediate family. But where it gets tricky is when like guys are like bringing in guys that are just random people, right? And buddies or whatever. Then I know this year at the draft,
Scoop?
remember?
You talking about Scoop?
I just remember there was a lot of controversy at the draft this year where it was just like, why do we keep doing these things with like, because you end up at the draft and so many guys are linked that it doesn't feel like a true draft,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
agree.
I feel like Don and them were also agreeing and there will be some kind of changes. I don't know what it'll be, but obviously I'm biased. I mean, look, I have a connection with Sasha. I've been throwing the ball to that guy for the last 25 years, right? So if I can keep him with me, then I'll be happy. But I see the pros and cons to it.
What about, oh my goodness. What about putting pictures instead of names?
I think
Don't you
that- I think that
pictures
would help.
When you're drafting the guys and you see these fucking names, like, can I at least see what his face
Yeah.
looks like?
You have to register
How many
online,
guys
right?
have you seen in this league that you know their face, but you don't know their fucking name?
I know Pack at the draft was looking up people online, right?
Oh, yeah.
Facebook.
Well, you got-
But
Whatever.
when
Next
you
level.
when you register for ETFL, it's online, right?
Yes.
So then there could be a section of like just upload a
Upload
selfie.
your photo.
Upload a
Yeah.
selfie.
Yeah, and it makes it easier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys talked about that, right? And like you're right, guys like Packus, guys like I remember the Pottles the year before. They were like looking on
that's
Facebook
my
finding
team.
these
That's my
guys.
team.
So,
Yo, what? This guy played CIS?
Yeah.
Dropped him.
Yeah, yeah.
6th round. All right.
but that,
It's
that's
history.
look at the same
Bio.
time, it's a lot of work, right? I mean, having to add a picture and do this other stuff. So that's
Yeah.
up to Don and those guys if they have the bandwidth and time to do it. But
I personally will take the job of adding pictures if no one has the time to do
You
it.
heard it here
I'm
first.
ready. Yes.
There you
You
go.
guys-
Raise my hand to
You
get the
heard it here.
pictures from everybody.
You already
and
know
make
Don's
sure that's
gonna
good.
message you about that.
Fuck,
So.
like, Don already has the pictures. What do you mean? He's been taking pictures this whole time. He
That's
has
true. He's
everybody
lots of
already.
pictures.
Nah,
What
you're
are
not
you
wrong.
talking
You're not wrong.
about? Anyways, shout out to
Alright.
Don. I fucking good job, man.
it's interesting to see though what the rankings are going to look like next year, right? After this year, right? Because things are going to change. Obviously, he's probably going to be a first rounder.
I would-
Everyone's going to
me
try and
too.
make Sasha a first rounder. Joe, you might drop to a third rounder.
You're fucking
I mean,
crazy. You're crazy.
no, I thought you wanted to drop and be off the radar. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
not gonna happen because my play doesn't depict that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Hey, which one do you
wow.
want? Which one do you want?
Well, yo, real talk. I'm injured. I'm sus. I'm retired age, so I
Yeah,
don't
that's
wanna
like
be
I said,
anywhere.
you're gonna play 2 games. Your knee's gonna blow up.
Yeah,
and you're
I'm
done
not
for the
playing- I
season.
don't think- I
He's
think
not
I'm-
reliable.
yeah.
Don't draft him.
Facts. You know what? I'm not showing up.
Don, his rankings are 68.
You know what? If I don't get drafted, you know what? You're right. I'm only playing if Marko drafts me. If I don't get drafted by Marko, I'm not showing up. I'm not showing up, eh? Don't draft me.
You got to be like Bronny and just say if someone else drafts you, you're
I don't
going to
wanna-
play in Australia. Or
I see
something.
Bronny's numbers today.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
They're
not
like
good.
Bronny.
No, no, no,
Bronny's
no.
terrible. Yo, that guy's trash.
Sorry, you quickly mentioned rankings, but in my mind, I'm thinking of the power rankings for T-Font. Just to quickly bring this up, we're
Yeah.
not going to be talking about it, but we will be posting the power rankings before Ottawa. I just want to quickly say that before I forget.
Matt doesn't want any smoke, but if when they drop
Yo, it's all
at
Matt.
Matthew
It's nothing to do with
underscore V4.
We're just the face of it.
What's that one team that are calling him
just
out?
the
Is that the Ottawa Wolfpack team?
Yeah, yeah.
I heard they want they want the smoke.
They want
Yeah.
all the smoke.
At Matthew. It is not us because Matt needs some smoke too.
No, we got a lot to talk
People
about.
coming up to us fucking hating on the. I'm like, I don't even know how the rankings work. I'm just here. But yeah, so I just wanted to quickly bring that up.
Do we want to take a break before we talk about Ottawa, or are we gonna get into it? Actually, before we do that, okay. At the last tournament, which was Belleville, your boy was there, chilling, doing his thing, and I had the short shorts. Anyways, there had to have been the female that was like talking about my shorts, like, oh my god, why are you short shorts? I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, Basically, I was like, hold on. So you're trying to say that my shorts are worse than someone over there that has long shorts that are down to their knees? So that raised a question. What is more attractive? And I don't care what the men say, to be honest. I just want to know from the women. And we're going to clip this up and put it on the IG. What's better, men with short shorts or men with long shorts down to the knees? So to the knees or to mid-thigh,
when you say to the knees, you're talking about
like a basketball short type of thing.
Ooh.
And if I have a picture, I'll post it up.
I would do short shorts.
Short gang.
What about Jay Segre with the short and tight ones?
No, I don't know. With a butt that big, he gotta chill. He's gotta get something more baggy. He's gotta get something more baggy still.
What about straight tights?
Yeah, straight.
Yo, straight tights is nasty work. Yo, shout out to that guy from Winnipeg, I think.
No, Edmonton Frost. Yeah, he's straight tights. Yeah,
he's a legend. He's a legend because it's like, yo,
he will always wear his tights.
I think it's a West Coast thing. I did notice a lot of the West Coast guys, they don't wear tights. But I don't.
It's true.
Is that like a hockey boy thing?
If you wear tights, why? Like, are you faster?
But it's touch football though. It's like, yo.
Well, maybe that's exactly it. They don't want nothing to be blown in the wind, so you can touch them.
But
like maybe they just need every little centimeter.
Honestly, we need to do a segment on people's gears and what they're wearing. We need to see if we
like
have
the one leg sleeve.
Okay. Yo.
I don't know why people wear one leg sleeve.
Yo.
Have you seen those?
That's just corny.
Like a one leg sleeve.
Literally
that's just corny.
One leg sleeve.
The only one I can think of is that WNBA player.
Yes.
Angel Reese, right?
Yeah, that's
she
what
wears
they
the
wear.
one leg sleeve.
But
right?
does that do anything?
I just know when she puts
Probably
on that
not.
Fashion Nova, it's a different thing. We might have to cut that out. But
You're not gonna find this when you're editing. So
somebody
you heard what Joe said.
Some female was like, "Yo, what do you think about if I wear the armband or whatever?" And I was like,
"What arm? Like the arm?
Like the arm sleeve?" I was like,
I feel like it makes sense if you have tattoos and you're covering up your tattoos.
I was like, "Are you trying to attract me?" You know what? It's okay. I'll leave it.
You guys see why I scratched my head so much?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone still. But yes, sir. Like, okay, what are you
gonna say next?
What do you think when you see a woman with the armband on that and they're playing
She's
football?
wearing an armband, Joe.
That's it.
So our last topic.
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
Ed Laverty.
Ed
tournament.
Laverty.
Legend.
I have so many thoughts about this tournament, and I don't know where to go. But to start, and I hate to do this because I am a Toronto Rockets fan, but I have to keep it 1,000. I'm on to my tournament right now. You guys are registered for this tournament. There's a check mark and everything, which means you paid. You're not on the actual schedule, which means that you dropped out of the tournament. Now, I personally don't care, but Marko, it's good that you're here today because back in, I don't know, 2015 maybe, 2014, we had a gentleman on our team that is responsible for entering us for tournaments. They mistakenly added us to Ottawa one year, and I believe that before the tournament even started, or I think it was before I don't know. You think it was after the deadline? It might have been just after the deadline. So let's say the deadline was Wednesday. Thursday we're like, we can't come. We don't have any players. We made a mistake. We didn't even mean to enter. Like, realistically, we weren't entering at all. This person, for some reason, was just playing games and entered us in. Meant to pull us out, but for some reason is an idiot and forgot and then didn't pull us out in time. That's the actual true story, but who cares?
Yep.
So we want to let them know, we're not trying to go to the tournament. We don't care. You could take our money. We can't come to the tournament. No one, nobody on our team is expecting to go. No one has plans to go. We can't go, whatever the case is. At that point, we were told that if you don't show up to the tournament, I think that you said we were suspended for 2 more tournaments.
Something like that.
And then I think that the way it worked out is because we were suspended for 2 more tournaments, that means the next tournament was Unionville, and the tournament after that was provincials. So we weren't able to we wouldn't be allowed to go to nationals because we wouldn't have. I don't know if it's because we didn't make enough tournaments or because we didn't play provincials, but one of the two. So essentially, if we didn't go to Ottawa, we weren't allowed to play nationals that year. Anyways, long story short, we obviously had to hustle and bustle, got to Ottawa, got our ass kicked. Fast forward, the fact of the matter that I'm getting to right now is that I just want to know if the same rules apply. The Rockets entered the tournament. The deadline passed. They're still entered in the tournament, which is online so everyone can see. And now they're not there.
Are they for
do the Rockets do the Rockets have the same penalties that the T-Font serves to every other team?
Oh, so you're saying they wouldn't be able to play the next two tournaments?
Correct.
How long ago was your thing though?
That was like at least 6-7
I
years
know.
ago.
It was a while. It was a while ago. It was a while ago.
Rules.
The rules are this same. They haven't changed shit. My issue is just like, how come the rules are not the same for every single team? We already know what the implications are. I'm not going to say it, but it's just like, it doesn't make sense. They were allowed to leave the tournament, and we know for a fact that they're not going to be suspended for two tournaments.
Did they get a refund too?
I don't know.
I don't know. I can only go based off what I see.
And then being on that list, the other list that you showed me, that means that they registered.
And that also means they paid. That's check mark means that you paid. So, I mean, I'm just saying what everyone else sees too. I'm not like, it's not like I'm putting anything on blast right now. I think it's obvious.
I mean, it's on the website.
It's out there. You can see it. I'm just saying that I don't like that just because we literally went through the same thing and we got punished for it. So, like, what's your opinion on that, Marco? How do you feel about that?
I mean,
Do you think it's a valid punishment?
like a 2 tournament. I think they should have, because I think we tried to pull out, again, this was years ago, right? But I think they knew we wanted to get out, and it was within a couple of days we said, let's get out, but they wouldn't, right? I'm not going to name names. I don't even remember who on the TFON committee was the one who said no, but sometimes mistakes happen, right? I mean, you can be lenient, right? Unless it's happening a lot or whatever. So I don't know this Rocket situation. So I think just be reasonable with whatever they go with, right? Just hopefully it's reasonable.
Maybe like a fee, like maybe if they just have to pay a fine.
Or you get half your money back, right? You guys screwed up, so okay, you get half your money back because maybe they have to pay for whatever.
I think at bare minimum, their money should be taken. You should have bare minimum pay for the tournament.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
So that's my issue number one. Whatever. We'll leave that to the audience and the public to decide how they feel on that. This is the real problem, guys. Ottawa as a whole.
Yeah.
Ottawa tournament as a whole. We gotta talk about it. They're about to have a tournament right now with 14 men's teams and 6 women's teams.
That's crazy.
Now, to add a layer onto this, apparently there was emails sent out that teams that want to go to Ottawa can add 4 players to their team that play on other TFON rosters.
4's a lot.
Now, to add another layer onto that, anyone that pays attention to the points system and how it works, this is the only tournament that the Rebels are not going to go to. So someone other than the Rebels is going to get a 50 point. They're going to get 50 points. In a 6-team tournament, someone's going to get 50 points, and you could bring 4 players from another team. Something doesn't seem right about this, and I don't see how that helps the game. With all due respect to the Bullets, the Bullets are guaranteed 44 points. Is that what that is? An A semis? How the fuck are you guaranteed 44 points? That's insanity. That doesn't make sense. I don't really know. I do want Ottawa to continue to have tournaments, but I don't know how you can include these points at this point, because what the fuck is that? You just show up and you're guaranteed to
I don't know how the point system works, but can it be weighted a little less than the other tournaments?
Well, I think that's what I'm kind of saying right now. It's what does it matter? You just entered a tournament right now, you're guaranteed points that you probably would never get in a real tournament.
If all of the teams.
Not to mention that right now teams could add 4 players from another team that they want, and
4 players? I thought it was 3.
Well, regardless, let's just say, for example, the
Okay.
Bullets decide that they want to pick up 3 players from the Rebels,
Yeah.
including Christine.
They can do that.
Yeah.
Yes. So now the Bullets get. So let's just say they pick up. I'm just saying, the Bullets pick up Christine and
Tiff.
2 other.
Sherry.
Okay. So, what are we talking about now? Now they have a chance to go to the double A's. Like, it's just crazy to me. It's like this is not making sense.
Obviously, I'm in the league. Like, I play in the league and I'm in it and I'm involved, but like, I never really think about it on that kind of level.
This is
Kinda-
the most important tournament right now for points because
Yeah.
the Rebels are not in it.
Yeah.
So, I think right now the way it works is like, I think the Wolfpack, the Legends, and the Rockets all have a 48. And then I think maybe 2 of those teams have a 46. Either way, the fact of the matter is this tournament is going to decide like who ends up like first, second, third,
Yeah.
like second, third, fourth type of thing. So if you enter this tournament, you're almost guaranteed to be in the top 4, which is kind of weird. But anyways, that's my thoughts on it. I don't know what you guys think overall, but 6 teams, like
Yeah, that's wild. 6 teams is crazy.
14 teams. You have
How many teams is it
1,
normally?
2,
Like,
3, 4.
there's
There's
like
usually at least like 24 men's teams. There's at least usually 2 full 12 tiers, right?
Okay.
24,
Yes.
28, 24, 26 usually, right?
Okay.
Maybe a little less. I don't know. I know it's dwindling a little bit.
What's
of
happening
late,
out
but
there though? Are there no teams like out there to?
I think a lot of
like,
those teams
join?
are Ottawa teams on the men's side, right? I think the problem with the Ottawa one is you know, if they do get rid of it, then all those Ottawa teams, that's their home one, right? And they always
Yeah.
have to travel, you know, fairly far, at least to
100%.
the GTA
I'm
ones.
seeing it now. Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah, but
Niagara,
with all due
Toronto.
respect, there's 8 Ottawa and Montreal / teams.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what
about
do you
half.
know? Exactly. Daryl, just to give him credit, Skinny on the comments
Yeah.
did say that apparently Montreal, like, I don't know, canceled or whatever their touch league.
Oh,
So I think when they did that, he was saying when they did that, that kind of hurt the Ottawa tournament because there wasn't so much teams anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's
Makes
because they
sense.
went to flag or whatever the case was, but that did hurt it.
Well, and Ottawa has, as far as I know, I've seen on social media, Ottawa has a very good run touch league. Do they not? Like with Gordy Laverty and those guys. Like I've seen the social media, so I'm assuming most of those teams are from that league. I wonder if there's more that don't enter it for some reason. But from what I've seen, I think they have a pretty legit touch league. I don't know anything about the Montreal one though.
I mean, I think that, and I don't know. It does seem like a good league, but I don't know if it's high, like this top end, right? Like we have leagues out here that you can make it look good, but it might not have that top end, so it doesn't really connect. I don't really know. I think we got to actually get someone from Ottawa on the show to like kind of fucking break this shit down. But
I'm sure the Wolfpack would have something to say about what you just said.
listen, I want to play the Wolfpack.
I'm fired up about these guys. I like their swag.
I
they
like
playing in
it
this
too,
tournament?
but I want.
They're in the same pool as EBO. Actually,
This is their.
so this is their shot. They got EBO. Let's see
Okay,
it.
so then let's get into it. Predictions.
They got EBO. Yeah. And then they would cross out. Oh, they got to cross over with the Mud Dogs if they don't beat EBO. But even in the worst case scenario, they're gonna go to the A's.
Wolfpack
Like,
and
well, that's big.
potentially like EBO.
Win or
It's
lose,
like-
like you're gonna go play EBO. Unlikely. I don't think they'll be able to beat EBO. But
EBO's winning this tournament. Can we all
was
agree to
gonna
that?
They'll have
No.
good numbers because a lot of their guys are out there
Yes.
now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
So are we agreeing that EBO's winning the tournament?
yeah,
Okay, so
Yeah.
EBO won. Okay, I'm done. Go on.
Mud Dogs might have something to say about that though.
well, they won. The Mud Dogs lost in the last play of the game last year, right?
No,
No,
I don't know. I'm
that was
just
the
saying.
the
In
the
nationals, you're talking about?
No, in Ottawa, that was the
Oh, that
Pirates
play.
Barry fucking goal, right?
Yeah, it was.
And that was for the game. But no, I do think EBO, like obviously, if they play as well as they could play, they should win the tournament.
You know what though? I'm interested to see what the Assassins are going to come with at this tournament. A lot of XKI guys on that team. Ryan Ford, Jared, all those guys. They're hot right now. They're hot right now.
they are.
Bodon, Bodon, ready to go off in that tournament maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess you know what the thing about these Toronto teams is. It all matters on like
Numbers.
What got exactly? Who's actually going? You know what I mean? Like I know EBO has guys already out there, so it's like you know that they already have 4 or 5 guys that are already there. You don't have to worry about shit, and then they just need to find whoever. If they got Brian and they got fucking Pinto, as far as I'm concerned,
That's crazy.
it's a wrap.
Montreal Terror Squad too.
Terror Squad.
Remember those guys?
I wanted to say something about. I wanted to say that they watch out for them because I think, especially when they're out there, they might have more guys than they would usually have, and I think that they're actually sneaky. I would say watch out for them for the AA semis or maybe even A.
We mixed it up with those guys a couple of years ago. I remember that one.
Yeah.
That's another story for another day.
Not all stories are
PG-13.
Exactly.
And then the Seminoles, their home tournament, they've been playing well this year. I mean, they could not surprise. They could make a little bit of a run.
Well, it's gonna be interesting. So I think that's the group: Ottawa football team, Montreal Terror, and Seminoles. I think that's gonna be the one that we're gonna see a little mix up and see what happens there.
Yeah, I think Mud Dogs should be in good shape in their pool. Assassins should be in good shape in theirs. EBO, look, an EBO Wolfpack, I would love to see that game because, I want to see what the Wolfpack got against these elite teams. And you're right, Pool D, it could be a wide open pool.
So any other predictions? So we all got EBO. Any predictions for A, or what do you guys have for A?
I think Wolfpack was going to win A. I don't see them beating EBO and then crossing over and beating Mud Dogs, but I do think that they'll win A.
Seems like Wolfpack will win A. Not only that, but I think also they're going to be most battle tested after they play EBO and Mud Dogs. Like
win or lose, that's who you want to be playing, right?
It's good experience for them for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Played 2 of the top 3-4 teams,
and for them it's still an improvement because I think they've been playing double B. So like if they even make it to the A, that'd be good. I did see a post that they said double A were on the way, and I was like, I don't know if you I don't know if you guys check your schedule. Double A is not that easy. I don't know, but you know what?
I mean, hey,
good luck to you guys. I mean, I
what
wish
are these
the best.
Ottawa Lions? I've never even heard of the Ottawa Lions.
They've been around.
Have they?
Yeah. You know who used to play on that? Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt used to play on the Lions before he went to Piranhas. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they're whatever. They're where they're ranked is what I'll say. Women's.
it's not much, but I'm gonna give it to EBO. Didn't they win the last one?
Listen, I heard some rumors still about EBO. I heard they had some 1-2 ringers, but I don't know if they're coming.
I was told I was confirmed that they're not coming.
Yeah. Well,
but it was happening.
I heard they have at least one. Is what I'll say. I heard that they have at least one. I went and checked I did the research for the pod.
Yeah.
Because I heard somebody specifically was coming. I said, "What? Hold on.
Is that confirmed?
Let me pull up my phone right now. I didn't pull the phone book for this one, but no. But they do at least have one person. I don't know too much because I'm not in that circle, but I would say watch out for EBO. I don't have them winning this tournament.
They're the third ranked. Wow.
I have the Ottawa Capitals winning this tournament.
Oh.
Easily.
Oh, shit.
Easily.
Yeah.
What about the Gatineau Griffins?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know either.
Unless they have some fleur-de-lis players on their team. Is there fleur-de-lis on that team?
If there's Montreal fleur-de-lis players on that team, they got a good shot.
They're taking 100%. All my money. But you know
what? If MJ's on that team, I got fucking
23. That's right.
Ottawa Capitals. I can see them.
They're solid.
I
don't think I've seen them play, but they're ranked 2 for a reason, I guess.
I got the Capitals. I would like to see what EBO versus Storm that game's going to be like. I think that's going to be very interesting, especially with you have all those girls that play on University of Toronto. And then the University of Toronto quarterbacks on the Storm. So it'd be interesting to see those girls play against each other. And because I don't really know where to put the Storm right now. Like I think they could be. I think they're in line with EBO. Like I kind of have them in that same.
I was gonna say somewhere in the
middle. Are they running with like a young quarterback or?
Yeah. So they Flutie used to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Flutie retired. So they have a young girl that's playing now. So I don't know.
Have they made the AA final or semis in the last 2 tourneys?
No.
No, they've been in the A. So, and I think so has was EBO. EBO won the A last time. So
Capitals have been in the AA.
yes,
semis
Capitals
and
played
finals?
one tournament. They lost to Rockets in the semis.
Yeah.
And honestly, as far as I'm concerned, they shouldn't have lost that game. But anyways, they threw a pick six at the end of the game when they were
Pick six
in
at the last play, no?
Rockets zone. So I don't know.
Giovanni took it house.
So
Yeah, that was wild.
you got EBO. I got Capitals. Matt.
I got the Griffins.
Smart. This guy's smart. He said Montreal. Fuck it. Who knows who they got? I'm not mad at it.
Capitals too.
Smart.
What a bandwagoner.
Okay, well, Matt, being that
They won last though.
you're
EBO
the
won
man of that is responsible for making sure that the Double L's podcast
Power
rankings are ranked properly.
So we're just only going to be ranking the 6 then for the women's?
Well, that's gonna ask you, like, what are we doing with this?
Would
Are we
you do
doing
all of them?
everybody?
It doesn't really make sense to do all of them.
But then you still need a post, like, whatever tournament.
No, last
I
one
think
we
everyone-
did.
We
We had everybody included, like Storm, for example,
Yeah.
who wasn't in it. We just had a blank because we put everybody's points.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
But then the updated points don't show. So, like for us, for example, we're not playing. So if you go on to my tournament, our points aren't there because we're
Right.
not in the
No,
tournament.
you're not going to the right place. You got to go to the rankings. You got to go on tfon.com and go to the rankings. The rankings will be there. Don't worry, I got you.
All right, boss.
The rankings will be there. Trust me. So, does that mean we're going to do everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we will. I guess it makes sense.
Well, being that Marco's here, we want to know, like, what's your thoughts on KI? Because we lost almost every single game we played. We lost in the Double B semis last tournament.
Wow.
And I don't remember what we did the first tournament, but I don't.
We lost. We made it to the AA semis.
Yeah, we
we lost
lost
to
No, Mud Dogs.
No, who did we lose to?
Mud Dogs, because we played Mud Dogs in the finals. Unless you lost to us.
Did we lose to the Mud Dogs in the AA semis?
We did lose to the Mud Dogs. Yeah.
No, when
Oh.
did we play you guys?
You weren't there.
I
You
wasn't there.
You
That's
weren't
why I
there.
don't
Yeah,
remember. Never
it
mind.
all makes sense.
Yeah, that's right.
We lost.
No, I usually do it tournament by tournament. Like, for example, the first tournament we won, so we won on top, and EBO dropped a few spots because even though they didn't have enough, a lot of players, they still dropped. After the last tournament, obviously it's going to look a little different, right? But
Are you our EBO number one? That's what everybody wants to know. Because hold on, before you answer the question, Jasmine could attest. We're sitting there just watching the game, just trying to enjoy our day, have a drink, watch the games. How many people came up to you to talk about the rankings?
It was actually
countless.
I was actually shocked at how many people were talking about it. But first of all, a lot of people were not happy with the rankings.
nobody's
Where
going to
they
be
were.
happy with.
I know. I'm just saying.
Except for one.
Who do you remember as the most unhappy ones? Like, who just really was, like, pissed?
Well, Giants.
The Giants?
Yeah.
Well, the first tournament I dropped to
Jacob?
like 17 or something.
Jacob came looking for me and Matt. I think Giants, Wolfpack.
Rough Riders, maybe they were a little bit lower than. They
Oh yeah,
really
Rough
should've
Riders.
been.
Yo, Rough Riders are rats still.
Yeah.
Rough Riders.
Oh,
are
was
rat.
that was Shad? Shad get a Shad mix it up?
Trying to think who else.
Shout out Shad.
The women's teams, I don't really think it was.
Listen, the women's team's a rat. Rockets are rat. Fucking Wolfpack was rat.
Yeah.
Everybody is, but
Everybody's rat.
you can't
Everybody's
expect to
rat.
be a higher ranking if you're losing games. Like going into this tournament and the next, EBO is number one because they beat us in the finals. It's simple, right? Like
Yeah.
obviously I've made mistakes, but more often than not, it's if you lose to a certain team and it's one or two, you're
So you said this before, and this is where I say you fucked up because you should have never said, like, when you lose to a team, whatever the case is, because then when I got to the bar on Saturday, people were like, "Well, okay, well, I'm like, bro, I'm trying to have a drink right now."
This team, so now we're gonna move up in the rankings.
and that's the thing, right? Like shit happens, right?
No, I know,
Like say
but-
we lose to a 10th ranked team, I'm not gonna put the 10th ranked team number one. That
Because
just doesn't
KI
make
lost
sense.
KI lost to the Bullets, so the Bullets want to know, are they higher than the KI?
No, because they also lost other games too, right? Like you're still the better team, but you may drop a few like assassins
Oh my
may
God,
move
no,
above
I
you
wanna see
because
the power rankings.
they're more consistent right now. It's more about consistency than
Yeah,
anything.
that's
Like,
fair.
Joe, I like how you were trying to put him on the spot, though. So let's talk about it. So, Matt, let's talk about this. If you were to rank KI right now, okay,
What are you guys?
like
Third?
going into Unionville, let's say. So, we'll have our full team there. Where are you putting KI right now?
So I don't like going based off of who's going, because then it's just who I think has the better
Let's just
team.
pretend everyone was going to Unionville.
I still think I'd base it off of how you guys did in previous tournaments, because that's just how you've performed this year. I know when you guys have full roster,
So we'd
you're
be
a
at
top
what,
4
like
team.
7, 8, 9?
Probably,
somewhere in
yeah.
there?
Between 5 to 8, 9, whatever. I don't know, whatever it is. But
You're right. They didn't do the rankings only for the people that are going. That's
what they did last
fucked
time.
up.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. They only show the rankings of the teams going into that tournament.
Yo,
so that's what I'm
Russ
saying.
is so sussy.
So for all the other teams, the points, because we put the points beside the power rankings, it's going to be blanks for quite a bit of teams.
Well, honestly, I could get you the real man like Bo. He has the real points. Bo
He
can
has
tell
the spreadsheet for sure.
Yeah, he can tell you who you're playing in Unionville. We don't even know yet. He's got it all connected. All right.
But yeah, I know when you guys have your full roster, you're probably a top 3 team. But obviously,
Not 3 or 2. All right, go on.
we'll see what happens. But
No, you know what? He's right though. I mean, we overachieved in that first tournament, being short guys and getting to the AA semi, but we got crushed by the Piranhas, and on Sunday we lost 2, right? But that last tournament, again, short guys, but double B semifinalists, right? I mean, that's it. That's all you need to know. So
That's crazy. Have
we.
you guys ever been in double B?
That was the first time I ever been in Double B.
How was it?
It was,
weren't
to be
there.
honest, it was great. You know why? Because we started the morning. I cracked a beer. I think 3 of us did a shot of some fucking, I don't know what we did a shot of. We did a shot, and then you have fun. Like, I was going to say that earlier, like, when we were playing, when we started and we were playing, that's one thing I feel like we all, like, kind of never got. Like, we never got the fun part. Like, we had fun, but it was always so serious. It was always like, we got to win. We never had that part where it's like, oh, we're coming here to have fun, and whatever happens, happens. It was always like, no.
That's a great point. When you're competing for AA championships every year, I mean, it's you're right. It's not as fun. It's like serious, right? So,
like, there's time. Like, I'll say, like, even when we won a couple times, like 2 times we won, like, I felt more relief than anything. I wasn't even that excited. I was like, fuck, like, thank God we fucking won. I don't know what I would do if we lost again.
the first one was
We
like
lost
kind of
so many times.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
You tell me. We did the rankings. Power rankings we talked about. Power rankings are coming out. I think I have nothing left.
All right. Any other things you want to talk about? Any things to mention?
I just want to thank you guys for having me on.
No problem.
Absolutely,
Thank you for
our
coming.
pleasure.
Being on I said this to Joe yesterday, being on the second hottest podcast in the world behind Joe Rogan. So this is a true
insane.
honor. Thank you for having me. It was a good time.
Thank you for coming and for being here. For those that don't know, it is past 11 o'clock at night on a Tuesday. So he's a real one for coming out on a Tuesday night. Great guest to have on. Your history in T-Font and outside of T-Font, phenomenal.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So this is Marko. If you see him,
Say hi.
say hi. He's not scary. I thought he was, but he's not. He's not scary at all.
Double L's podcast.